course, we knew that they were really good. You know, they have a good team. They're preseason top 5. This was a great opportunity and test for us, especially this early in the season. And we needed to see what the level looked like, or what an Elite 8 Final Four caliber team looked like. Just so some lessons you can't learn until you see it. I think this is one we can see moving forward, especially having a whole new team and 12 new guys learning to play together. This was a first. I would say this was a road environment. It wasn't a neutral, you know, so this was our first time away from home and in these moments. And I think it showed in segments of the game, especially the start of the game. They got off to a good start, and then once we settled in, we were able to get back. And then I think the same thing happened in the second half. They started, and then we cut it to 3, and then they ran away. It got away from us. We missed some bunnies, missed some shots, missed a bunch of free throws. And that was kind of the difference. But this is a good lesson for us. It's a good test for us, and just understanding, you know, something you been telling them, just how thin the margins are in winning and losing. And I think this was what we saw tonight.
Questions?
Coach, front court kind of got stifled a little bit tonight. Obviously, Malik had a very nice night, but not the best offensive night from Ernest.
Yeah.
How can we build upon back to what we saw over the first 3 games?
You know, I mean, one, you don't see size like that everywhere. Even in the ACC, you know, they had size that kind of can stifle you. I thought we got to the spots we needed to, and we were able to get to where we needed to. We just didn't finish kind of some of the stuff we did, like missed the lobs, been finishing the lobs. I thought Malik missed a lot of bunnies that he had been making, and it was kind of just separated. We just gotta, you know, what I tell my team is I think we're really good. I do. I think we have a chance to be really good, but I got to get them to play with that confidence and play with that kind of edge the whole time. And I thought this lesson will help with that. But I think a big part of it is we just got to be consistent in what we do and can't get away from it. And we can't let the moments let us get away from who we are.
Jay, defensively, just kind of what you think, and you know, obviously kind of what you're talking about, the difficulties of facing them on the other end too.
Yeah, you know, defense, they play with great pace. The way they run the offense, they play with great pace. You know, they hadn't been shooting the ball great. They come in, they make 9. This might be the most they made all year, I think. And you know, you get 2 of their big men, and we have 4 of them. All hit 3. You know, he's a really good player, but you know, sometimes you got to roll the dice with what you take away. I thought the biggest thing that could be the biggest separator in the game would be the points in the paint and the rebounds. You know, we did a good job being right there with the rebounds, but still, I think the separator was just they have 4 guys who have played in big moments and have pedigree, and we're not there yet. And I thought as the game showed, that kind of showed a little bit more.
You touched on earlier. You said moments. There were moments in the game.
Yeah.
You fought back. You know, the first half, and then it just kind of what was kind of going right. Essentially, then what kind of just got away from you guys at times?
I thought when we played faster and played with pace and were able to get into some of like our drags and playing out our transition stuff, we were able to kind of speed the game up and get them running. And then we just kind of hit a wall also, I think, just with the emotion of the game kind of got us. And that's part of being in this moment for the first time. And then once the game slows down, that's kind of where they're at their best with their size, and that's where it really comes into play. They can throw it inside, you know, they can play, you know, off the dribble handoff a little bit more. And I thought that was when they got away, and then we started to foul, and they were making their free throws, and we didn't. And I thought at that moment is when they kind of separated. I think it was like 44 to 47 at some point in the second half, and then we got kind of stuck right there, and they pulled away. And I think that 6-minute moment was the biggest part of the game.
Yeah, it seemed like you guys did a really nice job with Tommy Houck. He's been one of the most efficient players in the country the last couple of years. Just throwing different defenses at him, denying the ball, 2 on the ball. What kind of went into that thought process? And like, were you pleased with sort of that aspect of execution on your team's part?
Yes and no. I don't think we did it to the level we needed to. You know, the biggest thing we talked about is keeping the ball out of the paint. When those guards get downhill, that's kind of where their plugs come into play, where they kind of duck you in under the rim, but also the backside lob and everything comes into play when you let them get in the paint. So, you know, we kind of put 2 on the ball to kind of slow down the ball and keep it out the paint. And it worked in moments, you know. felt like we got tired. I felt like we got tired and it kind of died off, but that was the big thing, was kind of keep the ball out too, and then just try to just be physical and be us. You know, we weren't us to the level we needed to be. We didn't need to do anything special, we just had to be us, and we weren't there.
You guys pride yourself on physicality
Yeah.
too. I mean, where does this Florida team stack up just in terms of expectations going into tonight and the rest of the season?
I think their praise is warranted. I think they have a really good team. I think their front court is obviously really good, and they're returning. You know, the one thing, they're still adjusting, because, you know, you also got new people with the guards, with Flan and Lee, who are really good, but they just aren't themselves yet because it's the new environment. So I think as the season plays on, they have a chance to be really good.
Hey, Malik, in what ways will this game benefit you and your teammates going forward?
A lot, just knowing that we never had this experience before. Well, a lot of our guys on the team, it's a new team. Just going down the list of guys we got on the team, a new team, we got to be more connected going down the stretch. And this game is going to provide a lot, just knowing that they won the national championship last year and the fight they gave. So just next time, we got to give it our all and play 40 minutes instead of 25, 30 minutes. We got to play the whole 40.
Malik, what, just,
Like, you and Trey obviously have played in these types of games before, just not for Miami. Like, what do you, is it something you have to experience you can talk about it a lot, but.
Yeah, I mean, I played in games like this before, but it's having new guys around me and just not being that vocal leader that I'm supposed to be for my guys. I think that was a huge part today in this game, and I think just moving forward, I got to be more vocal and a bigger leader to these guys, especially because we're all 14 coming together. So, and it's a new group, so, and it's early in the season, so it can't get no, you can't get no better bump than this this early in the season. So, you just got to keep learning from the situations that we in, get to practice, and go harder.
Coach, you kept mentioning the words test and opportunity.
Yeah.
You look a little bit forward in the schedule next week on Thanksgiving Day. You got another one of those tests, especially when you got another dude in the front court that has shown that he is that dude. How does this game start to prepare you guys for BYU?
I mean, they're at that level too. And so, you know, we've played the 3 games before this, weren't to this level. And, you know, now that you see it, you understand it, you've been in those moments. The size, the speed, the athleticism, it's a different game, you know, but they're just as physical as well. So I think being around it and experience it will help you for that game. They're a completely different team than Florida, but it's still the same type of game, you know what I mean? It's still like a Sweet 16 type of game, and that's where we gotta get to.
Jay, you spoke at the
Time for a couple more.
You spoke at the beginning, just being confident still in this team.
Yeah.
Is it important for you and your staff to kind of, you know, make sure you emphasize that to the guys? I'm sure there's a lot of guys that are discouraged maybe about how they played, but do you feel like you kind of have to?
Yeah, we have to. We have to. Like I told them, this game, we weren't going to win national championship if we beat them, and we weren't going to lose it if we lost the game. So that's a big part of it. And then it's also, we have a bunch of new guys in different roles too. These aren't the same roles they played at their school before. So them adjusting to that and being able to do that and just understanding it's a process. You know, and we got to get lost in the process of where we're going and where we need to get to. So I think that's the biggest lesson, and getting them to still like, I mean, I know the score looks bad, but we're right where we needed to be in one moment, and they got away from us.
Coach, like you said, it's a neutral site, but it clearly obviously was filled with Gator fans.
Yeah.
To what extent do you think the crowd had an impact on the game, number one? Number two, would you be in favor of given the pluses and minuses of that type of thing, would you be in favor of coming back to Jacksonville?
Yeah,
Doing something like this again?
I think the crowd, I didn't expect the crowd to be like this. It was 8:30 on a Sunday, so that's just a testament to the fan base and where Florida basketball is right now, what they've been able to do. And then, you know, for us, it was our first time in a road environment like this, in a hostile, it was hostile, you know, environment. And we'll go anywhere in the state. You know, I think it's important for us, University of Miami, and important for me that we play everywhere in the state. And I'd love to play Florida every year if we can. And you know, we talked about kind of rotating it through different neutral sites throughout the state, maybe going to Orlando or Tampa or Sunrise next year and doing it again. So it's something that we want to do every year. Something I think is beneficial for basketball in the state of Florida, but also I think it's big for our brand. You know, we're more in South Florida, but we're a national brand, but also we're part of the state too, so we want to go everywhere.
Of our team's effort, I thought, you know, first half, we did some really good things, but we let them stay in the game, you know, with our inability to take care of the basketball. And that was a big issue for us. And credit to Miami, you know, they're quick. They do a good job playing the basketball and creating those turnovers. But I thought in the second half, we were just very competitive, much better handling the basketball. You know, both these guys next to me played great games. Obviously, I wish this guy would have stayed out of foul trouble because he was dominant tonight, you know, with his 19 and 7, you know, kind of getting whatever he wanted. He did a great job playing poise in the paint, finishing around the rim, and we saw his 3-ball go in a couple times, which was huge for us. And really, really happy for this guy to my right. You know, he obviously stepped up huge for us in conference play last year when we were dealing with some injuries. It was great in the exhibitions and had a slow start to the season. But the Urban Klavzar you saw tonight is the guy that we know we have on our roster, and stepped up and hit some really, really big shots in some moments tonight that allowed us to run out of here with a pretty big win. But, you know, good team in Miami. I think I told our guys in the locker room this one will travel for us. I expect this to be a quad 2 level win at the end of the year, and always good to beat a rival.
A couple questions from the players first.
Alex, you fell into foul trouble early on. I think you picked up 2 fouls in the first 2 minutes. You kind of had foul trouble against FSU and Arizona. What did you do differently to kind of get past that? And you went on, I think, scored 12 of your 15 first half points after that.
Yeah, I just played free. I didn't try and think too much about it, which obviously cost me in the end because I just kept playing the way I was normally play without fouls. But yeah, it's something I need to definitely tone in a little bit and realize that the team needs me at the end of the stretch, and definitely big emphasis on rebounding going forward for us as well.
Alex, how much did the turnovers in 2 of the 3 games bother you, having 6 or 5, whatever it was, and how much cleaner did you feel like you played today?
Yeah, I think just you know, taking my time and playing off 2 feet is a big thing. I know I can make the right read. I feel like coaches trusted me with the ball a lot out of the trail and making plays, kind of being that point forward for us. So I need to take care of the ball and yeah, just take my time with it as well. Don't rush things.
Hey, Alex, Ruben with the double-double, what kind of impact is he having for you guys so far at both ends of the floor?
Yeah, Rue's been awesome the last 2 games for us. I think he's being the guy that he is in practice every day. We've always seen that from Rue in the past 2 years, and he's starting to really get the hang of that and emulating that in the games as well. He works really hard.
Urban, what's it like when both Condon and Ruben both go out with foul trouble? What did that do for you shooting-wise? It seemed like it kind of opened things up for you.
Yeah, I feel like you always just got to stay ready. I mean, they got the 5 fouls, and I had to stay ready to shoot those jump shots because we're playing with 3 guards, and I knew Xavier and Boogie can get me open anytime, or even Thomas. So I just had to stay ready and shoot the shots with confidence.
Herbie, it looks like your confidence has just really evolved the last year too. I mean, you had a couple of heat checks tonight. Just how have you evolved as a playmaker and just also shooting from beyond the arc?
I'm just trying to be confident every day, more and more. We work a lot every day. I work a lot with Torian, just on shooting, playmaking, whatever. But I mean, the work that we put in, it just got to show every night, and you just got to stay confident and take those shots.
Anything else for the players? All right, we'll let those guys go. Questions for Coach?
Coach, you guys were stifling Miami's front court the entirety of the night. They're a core that's been really successful through the first 3 games of the season. You guys, like I said, you snuffed them out. Was that more of the emphasis leading into tonight, or was that just how the game gave it to you?
No, that was obviously a huge emphasis. You know, Reneau, really talented scorer. Uday, good, you know, rebounder, rim finisher. Doesn't get a touch a lot in their offense, but you know, you got to account for him on the glass. And, Reneau was the main cover. He's the guy that they play off of. He's the guy they throw the ball to every time. I thought Ruben did a fantastic job on him, all night for the most part. Micah did a good job until he got banged up. And then the rest of the front court, Tommy Condon, we held him to 22 points on 23 shots. So really inefficient night, no assists, 3 turnovers. I think that was a huge key in our ability to be successful tonight.
Not the best night for Xavier. Is there any words of encouragement that you've been giving him over the past couple of days of where it's just trusting the talent that he has and knowing that eventually he's going to pop off to the Xavier we saw last year?
Yeah, he's pretty fortunate to play for a guy like me. I'm not worried about the shooting. I concern myself more with things that don't require talent, like defending, rebounding, taking care of the ball. He had 5 rebounds tonight, 5 assists, 3 steals. He did a lot of things that helped us win. And my message to the team after the game, we didn't get a made 3 from him or Boog tonight. They were 0 for 10. Just imagine how good we're going to be once these guys start making some shots. We're able to beat a team like this by double figures. I think our ceiling is really high, and I think our floor is really high. For us to beat a team like Miami by 14 without getting any 3s from them, I think that's a pretty astounding effort.
Todd, during that flurry, I think it was like 5 or 6 turnovers in like 2.5 minutes or something. Was it what they were doing or just carelessness with the ball?
When are you talking about, Chris?
The first half?
First half? Yeah, I mean, they're a good defensive team. I think True Washington, probably his best skill is his defense and his ability to play the ball. Trey's disruptive on the ball, and they're strong and long and physical. And I think it took us a little bit to get comfortable attacking that pressure. But that was a huge key, I thought, our ability to do a better job handling the ball in the second half.
Do you have any update on Micah and just what happened to him, and also kind of later in the game of missing him and the front court kind of getting thin?
Yeah, you guys got banged up a little bit. He's going to be fine. We just held him out for precautionary reasons. So I expect him to play Friday. But it definitely was a negative for us. We had to get in there and obviously get deep into our bench. We played Meek tonight, who is a really good player. Missed a couple free throws, but provided some minutes for us. I thought Zay Brown was huge. I know he didn't get a bunch of stats, but played 18 minutes and really helped us win in a lot of different ways. So. And then Irby obviously stepping in off the bench and giving us 15 was a huge lift. So we're in a game like this, you got to have a next man up mentality. And I thought our bench did a really good job stepping up.
Is that what Irby can be all season for you guys, like a little offensive spark plug off the bench?
I hope so. I certainly think he's capable. As I said, last year, you go to Auburn when they're number 1 in the country, he hits 3 threes, right? And then the next game against Mississippi State, he hits a couple 3, and then against Vandy the game before, he's very capable. And a guy that's played a lot of basketball in his life, as you heard him say, when he's playing confident, he's really hard to stop. The perimeter defenders on Miami are talented, and they're quick, and they're athletic, and they have quick hands, and he was able to get his shot off, and hit some daggers tonight. I think that's what he could give us off the bench for sure.
Obviously, your front court, holds them to, I think, 35% on 2s, but just the job that Boogie did when shots aren't falling defensively on True and on Trey. Those guys seem to really struggle to get going too.
Yeah, I thought he was fantastic defensively. I thought collectively we were great. A lot of new guys, right, in our program, I think they're realizing really quick. They're like, man, this guy is kind of crazy. Like, he doesn't say anything to me when I miss shots, but if I don't block out, he's cussing me out, and Boogie and Xavier have done a really good job quickly in that regard. They've become more winning players. Boog, he's got a lot on his shoulders right now. He's picking up the ball every time. He's getting us into our offense every time with a lot of accountability. We're putting a lot on him. And again, both those guys, I think it's going to loosen up for them here over the next couple of weeks where they're starting to get more comfortable and find, more opportunities to pick their spots. But, we held them at 34% from the field, 28 from 3. We fouled a little too much. But as I told the team in the locker room, we have to be an elite defensive team. There's just no doubt about that. If we want to be the best we can be, we have to be elite defensively and on the glass. And when we play well and shoot well offensively, we should be able to, beat pretty much a lot of the opponents we come across.
Todd, can you speak to Ruben's, Todd, Ruben's confidence now when he gets the ball on the block offensively, and how far that part of his game has come to?
Yeah, I mean, he's last year he was probably underrated a little bit. He shot 60% from the field. He was able to put the ball in the basket. We didn't throw it to him as much, with his back to the basket because of the personnel on our roster. But he's very capable. and he's done a great job of kind of picking his spots, when to attack in the post and getting back to that left shoulder. And when he does that, he's pretty automatic. He's able to get over the defender and drop the ball in the basket. But, in real time, you're seeing a guy, really mature as a basketball player and become a lot more than just a defender and rebounder, which he was when he came into college. Now he's becoming, a skilled finisher around the rim and someone that's able to score, against one-on-one defense. So he was so valuable to us last year, and I think probably didn't get enough credit for the success we had. And I'm really happy for him that he's starting to produce the type of numbers that are going to lead to some praise for him this year.